Alright, everybody. I am here with Mullins. My name is VTech, of course. You know me. You know us. So, let's talk about the state of the WWE Universe first, and then we'll start talking about Raw.
Okay.
Because I think the state of the universe was very, very interesting. I think anytime there's a TNA name drop, that's when it gets very interesting.
Yeah, because it's almost like you don't think they'd put it in the script.
No,
So you feel there's a part of you that feels as if it
someone
was
went
just
rogue.
like someone went in for themselves and said, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna say it, and who's gonna stop
Well,
me?"
I think it's a thing of like, not to crack some real quick, is that, Daniel Bryan has nothing to lose. He said on the state of the WWE Universe, which we all thought was going to be something bigger, but it was basically just Raw GMs, SmackDown GMs, trash talking each other, but it felt very shoot fight. I mean, that's what it's been seeming like for a little bit during the show also. As we'll talk about Goldberg and Brock and Heyman and all that. But with the state of the WWE Universe, something I brought up where they said, Daniel Bryan, you don't want this job as GM. And then, Daniel Bryan said, well, in 2001, you left also as GM, talking about Mick Foley. Foley said, I did it to be a good father, just like how you have a kid coming up and you might do the same. And Daniel Bryan says, no, there's a difference. I want to wrestle, but unlike you, who you stopped in 2001 and then went to TNA to wrestle, and all chaos broke out basically at that point when you hear TNA got name dropped. Especially Mick Foley wrestling in TNA. We all remember how that ended up.
He was the world champion.
He was the world champion. He fought Sting. There was like steel cage matches, but that's TNA product anyways. We're talking about Raw and WWE in particular, but yeah, state of the WWE Universe was basically trash talking. Nothing really got accomplished. But hey, if you want to hear some really good, I think Mick Foley really got triggered. There wasn't too much Shane at all, and there really wasn't that much Stephanie. It was really Daniel Bryan and Mick Foley firing off at each other, which is very odd because if you remember, Mick Foley beat up a TV with the baseball bat because he wanted Daniel Bryan to be in the Rumble, remember? So, I think that's a bit odd, of course, putting over women's wrestling more and trash talking that way. But let's get on to Raw. Raw basically kicked off having all Team Raw saying, hey, you better win this for Raw or we're going to be disappointed in you. Then we had some impromptu matches. We had, Jericho give gift scarves to Hello Malin. We're talking about Raw. Did you see the state of the WWE Universe?
Oh Lord.
Well, I'll tell you about it after this. Or maybe I'll tell you about it now. All right, and we can talk about it. Did you see Raw?
Yeah, I saw Raw.
All right, we'll just hit the big points of Raw real quick, and then loop around to the state of the universe, and then back to the big thing for Raw, which is probably Brock and Goldberg.
Oof.
Quick points for Raw is that Jericho tried to give scarves to Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman. Strowman wasn't having any of that. Ripped Jericho's scarf.
Strowman does not like scarves.
James Ellsworth, AJ Styles, and who else? Someone else made the list. 3 people made the list.
That's it. AJ Styles twice.
AJ Styles' hair.
Oh, AJ Styles'
hair.
AJ Styles' hair, and James McMahon. James Ellsworth.
I feel so bad for James Ellsworth.
The fact that I've met this guy in person way back before he was even anywhere as close to WWE is just full circle. Seeing him in a year, and it's just great. It's just great,
I do not feel ashamed for how much I laughed when Chris Jericho called him Chins McMahon.
Sin Cara was talking, and it felt like everybody wanted to beat him up. Funny, right? You get that vibe. You get that vibe.
Racism.
Yeah, you get that vibe. No, it's because of what he did to Jericho and Simon Gotch. So you get that vibe that they're probably going to be going to SmackDown. So,
Thank God.
other big points. I mean, there's a bunch of matches where they basically fought each other. Well, nothing really too crazy. Nia Jax lost because Alicia Fox tapped, which we thought Alicia Fox was going to get replaced by Dana Brooke. Not going to happen. I don't like that. Thumbs down, especially because they say that's a key argument of how they have the top 5 women. That's a lie. I'm not crazy about Dana Brooke, but I think she still deserves to be in this match more than Alicia Fox. If you're going to complain about Natalya. So, let's see. Let's talk about the big confrontation where Shane and Daniel Bryan came out. I thought it was just going to be Shane, but apparently it was both of them. Came out, confronted Steph and McFoley. They got into it. Banter. Here comes just pandering, basically. Out comes Team Raw. They're basically like, we're going to beat you up, Shane. And then Shane's like, I brought Team SmackDown. SmackDown comes out. The list gets involved. AJ Styles is like, hey, I'm the face that runs this place. Kevin Owens is like, welcome to my show. Your title's worthless. AJ Styles says that you're sucking on Jericho's sugar tits. It was beautiful. There wasn't anything for Randy Orton, sadly. I was sad about that because I'm a big Orton fan, of course.
And besides him getting in Braun's face,
Bray got in the face of Braun, and then Braun's, like, I'm gonna kill you. And Seth and Roman are like, hey, we're best friends now. And Dean's like, hey, I feel left out now that you guys are teaming up. So he punches him, and then it started the fight, and Raw looks strong, and I get the feeling that tomorrow we're gonna see it all over again, but SmackDown's gonna look strong. So
I really feel like, do you remember Raw versus SmackDown when Batista and Shawn Michaels were captains?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really feel like that's what that's going to be like, honestly.
Yeah. So quick talk about for State of the WWE Universe, because you didn't see it, did you, Malin?
No.
Well, here's basically what happened. A whole bunch of bantering. Nothing really got... nothing productive for the company was announced. It was basically just the two GMs on Raw, 2 GMs on SmackDown yelling at each other. And mostly it wasn't even Steph and Shane. It was mostly Daniel Bryan and McFoley. Like there seemed like
those two
heat.
were just going at it.
Like it seemed like there was like real heat there for some weird reason. We found out Shane McMahon doesn't like Kevin Owens, doesn't want to deal with Kevin Owens' ego. Apparently, we found out that Mick Foley is mad at Daniel Bryan because Daniel Bryan doesn't want the job. But Daniel Bryan is mad at Mick Foley because Mick Foley got to leave in 2001 as GM to go to TNA. And he even name-dropped, saying, hey, this isn't my first choice, I want to wrestle. But you took the easy way out in 2001 when you had a kid, so you went to go wrestle in TNA. Major shots fired there. Especially when TNA gets name-dropped, it really seems like it's a shoot. So... there's that recap. Onto the big thing, which is pretty much why a lot of people watched Raw, was Goldberg and Brock coming at it. Security guards lined up. So they yelled and back and forth, and Goldberg's like, shut up, Heyman, and then Heyman's like, by the end of the night, your son's gonna be calling Brock Lesnar daddy. And then Goldberg flipped out, as any human being would do. And I think some security got injured. But we never got to see those two fight.
Oh, the blonde one. I feel like the blonde security guard that was standing in front of Goldberg.
Yeah.
The way he got pushed and
by
then
Brock?
thrown by Goldberg.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I really, really feel bad for those security guards. So, I mean, it's just weird right now. I mean, it looks like there's, like, a lot of shoots going on right now. I mean, you look at what happened between Daniel Bryan and Mick Foley, and it's like, that shoot is, like, it's crazy. Like, it just seems like it was a real shoot. So we don't know if it was real or not.
I feel like there's more heat between Mick Foley and Daniel Bryan than there is between Shane and Stephanie.
Yeah, of course. Because they're family and all that. But I think it's, I don't know, maybe they just didn't want to work together or something. Man, I think there was like a low-key underlining tone that Daniel Bryan and Mick Foley didn't want to work together as GMs or something. But, and I forgot also, this is a big thing also to talk about that before we go back to Goldberg and Brock. Daniel Bryan told Mick Foley, I'm a representative of the wrestlers. And Mick Foley was like, well, so am I. He's like, no. you were 16 years ago. You have no idea what this new era of wrestlers is all about. And then Mick Foley was like, well, it's 16 years. Well, I'm still around, and you're saying the same thing. I'll tell you how it feels. So there was major heat between those two.
WrestleMania confirmed. Mick Foley versus Daniel Bryan.
Exploding deathmatch. Tap out only, by the way. Tap out only. Yeah, submissions only match. Iron Man match.
But the LaBelle
Stone Cold Steve Austin special guest referee, but
with Donald Trump as special timekeeper.
Winner gets to be on the podcast. But no, it makes me wonder. Do you think Goldberg and Brock are going to go rogue at Survivor Series? I had this theory that I like how you just say yes before I even had my theory out. But I think
go on, just have your theory.
The theory is it's in not Madison Square Garden. It's in Canada, at the same place as the last time they were there, the Montreal Screwjob. Right?
Mm-hmm. Last time they were there at Survivor Series, Montreal
I'm thinking Goldberg's going to get the Montreal Screwjob too. I'm thinking because there's no way Brock's going to be like, well, I'm taking the loss to the guy who's not going to be here tomorrow. And then there's no rematch, especially because Brock lost the first one, you think about it. So, especially because there's other rumors about, maybe Angle or someone being the next person. And, of course, more stuff about Taker and whatnot. But I think the big thing is Goldberg realistically does not look like he could beat up Brock Lesnar. So Brock Lesnar and him basically are probably going to go rogue during this. So,
hold on. Did you just say that Goldberg does not look like he can beat up Brock Lesnar?
Yes, I will vouch.
He looks like an old man. Let's be honest, Bryan.
I don't know. No. The way I'm looking at it, he aged bad. I can't even say.
It's because he was idle all that time. You think about it. Brock stayed in shape. I mean, from amateur wrestler.
Did UFC.
Well, you think about his entire life: amateur wrestler, football player, pro wrestler, UFC fighter, pro wrestler, UFC fighter, pro wrestler again, who still does UFC fights. Like, Brock's not messing around. The only thing Goldberg did was what? Not Bellator, maybe Bellator. He did some MMA, right?
Yeah, I think it was Bellator.
So I mean, you got to think about it though. Brock's got the age over him, and Brock's, I think it's scary to say, but Brock Lesnar might be in his prime. Like, this might be the prime of that man.
Say.
Yeah,
that is scary to say.
And I mean, there's still speculation of people saying, was what he did to Randy Orton a shoot? Was it real? Was it?
Here's what I kind of think about it. Yeah. This match is gonna go one of two ways.
All right.
It's either it's gonna happen like Orton, and Lesnar's gonna kill him.
Oh man, in front of his kids too, though. That's the other thing. Like, you got to think.
That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that he's gonna take it into his own hands and try to kill Goldberg in front of his kid.
Mm-hmm.
Or, and this is like the slimmest line ever in my opinion, they're going to put on an amazing match.
In all honesty, those two guys at their age and being brawlers, especially after their last match,
there's going to be blood.
I don't think that there's going to be, I know there's going to be blood. I don't think there's going to be, that wrestling match, all right? I think we're going to see.
It's going to be a fight.
It's going to be ugly, folks. It's going to be ugly.
I really wish they changed the false count anywhere to let these two literally go anywhere.
Yeah. But that's pretty much about it for our Raw review. I mean, the big underlining tone of Raw is, hey, it's the go-home show, quote-unquote, before Survivor Series, even though SmackDown kind of is the go-home show too, even though it's the 900 SmackDown, so it's like, there's still a lot of stuff being speculated for SmackDown. Undertaker got confirmed too, which is pretty big, by Shane, so...
excited for that.
Raw tonight, I'm going to give it a solid 8.5. I really enjoyed Raw. I don't agree with the main event being the Club and Enzo Amore and Big Cass versus the Golden Truth and the Shining Stars of the Caribbean.
I didn't even notice that was the main event.
That was the main event match. I don't agree with that. I think they built up every other match to be big, and then they were like, oh yeah, we forgot about these guys. Just throw them on. I would have had the Cruiserweights main event in my opinion, but even if it was Sin Cara and Brian Kendrick, but
I wish it would have been more than just those two. Like,
well,
you have
for those Cruiserweights?
Yeah, like you have that's the whole division on the line.
I think that's a big problem, in my opinion, is that the whole division was on the line. I don't like them doing these ridiculous lucha-esque multi-man cruiserweight matches, because I mean we see that at lucha already. Let's spice up a little bit. The Raw is supposed to be about storylines and cruiserweights.
I wish they did a 6-man match.
6-on-6
like,
or 3-on-3?
No. 6 men against each other.
Oh, just like all at it, like Elimination Chamber. Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
That could be good. I just I don't know why the heck Sin Cara was like, you don't talk about my friend Kalisto, and then it's like, why is he fighting Brian Kendrick? Like, Noam Dar's there, T.J. Perkins there, Cedric Alexander's there, Rich Swan's there, like all these people were there.
They should have gave us a taste of Survivor Series and do like a 4-on-4 elimination.
So, Raw Night. What would you guys give it? I gave it an 8.5.
I would agree with you.
You gave 5. Mullins.
I'll go with a 8.
8. Yeah. So.
Oh, not that bad.
It's just not bad at all, especially for a go-home show for a pay-per-view. I mean, we've had other go-home shows for pay-per-view that were
go-home shows usually suck.
Yeah, which is really sad because they know they're gonna draw in anyways for that pay-per-view. But really excited for Survivor Series. I don't know how they're gonna fill 4 hours because it's 4 hours, right?
Yeah, it's a 2-hour pre-show. It's like WrestleMania style.
Yep.
Isn't that literally the length that WrestleMania was?
WrestleMania was 5 to 6 hours, by the way. Like, WrestleMania was very long because if you counted in the pre-show was like 2 hours though, right?
That's what I think. I think the pre-show for this is 2 hours too. I think it's another one of those 6-hour events.
I don't know how they're gonna fit in all that time because you think there's not that many matches, and the only big match that's a title match is. Well, they might
throw in a random Survivor Series match, like of a bunch of mid-carders on each brand.
Who
knows? Bunch of jobber people.
Yeah, like Bo Dallas, Curtis Axel, like those types of people you mean?
That's just a waste in my opinion. That's kind of a waste after like a big match, which is what I'm thinking. But I know these Raw versus SmackDown, that match in general will probably be, close to like what a Rumble would be. It was like an hour.
That'll be an hour long.
Yeah, so
the main event is definitely going to be like an hour long between these two teams.
So we'll hear from you all tomorrow for the 900th episode of SmackDown. In general, not just live or HD, but really excited. Edge, Angle, Taker. See you then.